Hi everyone, my name is Moin and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I will be showing you how you can create your first Flutter app in just a few minutes. Before I proceed, I would like to talk about what Flutter is. So Flutter is an open source framework that was built by Google that helps us to build mobile apps. With Flutter, you can create mobile applications for Android and for iPhone using just one code base. So this makes it cross-platform, and what that means is that instead of writing different code for each platform, you write the code once and Flutter helps you to run it everywhere. So generally, this helps to save time and also makes development to be much faster. Flutter uses a programming language called Dart. That is very easy to learn, especially if you have prior knowledge of any other programming language. So it would look very familiar in the Flutter series as we go on. So what makes Flutter special is just how fast it is. When you change something in your code base, you're able to actually see the result instantly on your emulator or your simulator. So this is called auto reload, and it makes building apps much more fun and productive, and it saves a whole lot of time. Flutter is great for design. You can create very beautiful and smooth modern interfaces without much effort. And in general, Flutter is very easy to learn. We'll be going through this in the series for building projects, and without wasting much time, let's get right into it. So I have my Visual Studio Code IDE here, and here the first thing I would do is I would come on to we'll talk more about this in later projects, but Visual Studio Code is an IDE, and the first thing you do is to go on to View and you click on the command palette. So what we want to do is to create a new Flutter project. So I am going to create Flutter project, but aside aside that, there are other options for when you select and search for Flutter here. But what we're gonna do here is click on the new project, and then there are different options here. You can create an application. So there are options here for a template. You can create an application which is a Flutter application with descriptive comments and tests, or you can create an empty application which is a Flutter application without descriptive comments or tests. Then you can also create a module, which is a project that you can add a Flutter module to an existing Android or iOS application, or you can create a package, which is a shareable project containing modular that code. As time goes on, most of these things may become more familiar to you as we explain it in the series. Also, you can create a plugin, which is a shareable Flutter project containing an API in that code with a platform-specific implementation. So what we're going to do here is to select application, which is the Flutter application with descriptive comment and test. So when you select that, the next thing you do is to select the folder where you want to put this project. In this case, I'm just going to leave it in my downloads folder. So I will select this folder to create the project in. Then I'm going to give my project a name. So it says your entire name for your new project. You cannot put in spaces in a project name. So the most you can put is separation by underscore. So in this case, I'm going to just create, I'll save this as my first Flutter app. And with this, I will press enter. So Flutter is gonna go on to create the project template. We'll just briefly go through what each files has been created, and then we will go on to create a simple project. So we have the Android folder, the iOS folder. Like I said, in Flutter you can write a single code base, and this will be run on both Android, iOS. As you can also see here, Linux, Mac OS, web, and Windows. So for most times when I create a new project like this, I tend to delete the rest of the folders that I don't need, which is the Linux, the Mac OS, the web, and the Windows, and I leave just the Android and the iOS because that is really what I'm trying to build. But in this case, we'll just continue. So in a later in a later video, I'll be going through what each of this folder is all about, but for this one, just as a general quick overview for creating a Flutter app, I will get right into it. So when we get into the leaf folder, so under the leaf folder, you click on the main.dat. The main.dat is the entry point for every mobile app. For Flutter, we will speak more on this in a later video. And then when you click on the video here, when you click on the file here, you would see the template that has been created by Flutter for you. So if I run this now, by clicking on the bottom here that says no devices, so I'll wait for this to load and select a device. So I have my Android emulator and my iOS simulator already set up. It takes a minute for this to load up, and we will continue once we will continue to select a folder once this has been loaded up properly. Right, so I'm gonna re-click on this. As you can see here, I have the option to select any of this, so I will go on to start my iOS simulator, and what I'm trying to do here is to show you what the default template for Flutter, the default template that Flutter has created for us just by creating this project. Right, so I'm just gonna go on here and click on run and run without debugging, and what I'm trying to do is to run the current project that's been created by Flutter, just to give us an idea of what you see when you do create your project. So this will take a minute or two, and we will be able to proceed once it's done. Ideally, when you run without debugging, it's much faster than when you run with debugging, as you see the option here says start debugging or run without debugging. So we'll wait a few minutes, hopefully, and then this project will load up and run the default counter app that Flutter creates for you. Right, so this is done running, and as you can see here, we have the default Flutter counter app that has been created on creating this project. So we have this demo home page here where we see what we call the application navbar here, and then we have the text here, which if we just take a brief look at the comparison between the code and the app, so this is the home page here. You can see, like I mentioned, this is going to be a series where we would explain more about what each of this line of code translates into visually. So in here on the material app, we have the home, which refers to the widget of the home page, and we have the navbar here, which was passed to this stateful widget here. Like I said, this would also be explained further. So we have the Flutter demo home page here, which is a title on the navigation bar, as we see on the right here. Then as we go into the widget, which is the page, the home page, you can see here the increment counter function. So if I just scroll to the bottom, you would see here the text that says you have pushed the button this many times, which you can also see here translates to this on the screen. And we have a floating action button, which is this button at the bottom right here that says increment. And what this actually does is it's referring to the unpressed method here, points to the increment counter, which points to which does a set state, which basically just increases the counter on the text here. So you can see here it was initially initialized as 0, which means that as I click on plus, it keeps incrementing it, and this is as basic as it gets. When you create a default application on here for on Flutter. So this is basic thing that's been created for you. But we're just gonna make a very minor change here, just to satisfy building a very simple Flutter application, which is pretty much the foundation to a lot of things that are being built in Flutter, where you are using icons and you're using text widgets. So what I would do here is under the, so I wouldn't need this method anymore. So I'm just gonna clear these bits. There will be some errors, but then we will take the time to fix those. So I will take all this out because we do not need this. I will take this out as well. The comments, most times once the project has been created, I just take a few seconds to delete all the comments. Right. So we have the main app here, as I mentioned before, and that points to the home page here. So one of the first things I'll do, because this is now throwing an error, for one of the first things I'll do is to remove the reference to counter and just put here, I'll just put test here for now. And then I will take out this floating action button because we don't currently need that. So if I save this, remember when I spoke about the auto reload feature on Flutter, the moment I click on save here, this is going to immediately refresh what we see on the side. So once I click on save all, you see immediately the value of what used to be the counter is now the value test. So we will continue. One of the things I'll do here is also to change the background color. So this is currently using the theme's default color, which is the purple we see on the right. So I'm just gonna change this to blue and leave it at this blue. So the moment I save it, as I mentioned, the alt reload feature, I'm able to see this here. So I'll give this a new title. So the value we have here on 60, which is the widget or title, is actually what was passed here from line 33 into the home page. So what I could do here is I could either change the value here on 33, or I could come down here and just pass a new value. So for the purpose of this video, I will create a new title and just say my first app and click on tab on that, and the moment I save, we can see the value of my first app. Just because this is not visually appealing, black against blue, sometimes you can't really see that well. So under the test here, I'm gonna create a style. As you can see, my I have the suggestion to complete this. I'm just gonna click tab on that and change the color of the text to white. And then under here, we no longer need, you have pushed the button this many times. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna replace this with an icon and say icon. Actually, this is kind of exactly what I was expecting. So I'm gonna hit tab on this and save. And as you can see, we have an icon here, and we have a default text here. So I'm gonna save this, change this to the Flutter dash icon, and change the color to blue. And the text, I will change this to my first simple Flutter app. Right, so the moment I save this, this is what we have here. So far this is looking good. We have created a widget, we have created an icon, and we have also created in a text which points to the app that we're building. So I will increase the size of this text just a little, the icon just a little bit more, to 68. As a matter of fact, let's make it 100 just to have it enlarged on the screen. And I will change this bit here and say yes, we want it this way. And I also want to increase the weight and make it bold. So we have my first simple app here, and right, this is this is exactly what we're expecting, and for a first simple app, I think this is looking very good. So thank you for watching this video. In the series that is to come, we will explore more on how to build more complex applications in Flutter, and how to connect these apps to C Sharp backend and database. And thank you very much for watching, and see you in my next video.